Welcome to Python lecture everyone. In this lecture, we are going to cover a topic called as string. String is very much important topic, believe me, because most of the time you will end up processing a data which will be available in a string format. So sometime you will have to do a string manipulation, sometime you will have to extract some sort of a data out of the given string. Sometime you will have to do a data formatting which is already available in a string format. Likewise, there are many different kind of operations which exist inside a string. Now in this particular lecture, I'm going to discuss each and everything, believe me, each and everything I will try to cover in a practical manner, plus wherever it is required. So I'll try to give you even a theoretical understanding about that particular function or maybe a process which I'm going to follow. So let's get started with respect to a string, guys. So here, I believe my screen is visible to all of us. Okay. So here, what I can do is maybe I can try to create a string by using double quotes. That's completely fine. Sudhanshu. Okay. Now here, maybe I can try to create a string, and here I can try to give a single quotes. That's completely fine. Maybe I can try to create a string by using a triple single quote, SUDHANSHU. Maybe I can try to create a string by using a double quote 3 times, opening and closing, and even this is going to behave like a string. All of these things are basically a way by which I will be able to create a string. So in either of way, right? In either of way, you can try to choose and then you can try to create a string. There is no restrictions at all. Believe me, there is no restriction at all. You can feel free to create your string or put up your string in any of these given ways. Now, there is a hack in between. So let's suppose if I'm trying to create a string, right? And I'm writing how's your, YOUR, your health. Okay. So here, as you can see, I'm trying to open up a string with a single quote, and then I'm trying to close this string with a single quote. Now, if I'm going to execute it, it is giving me a syntactical error. Now you will tell me that yes, everything is fine. You said that you can try to create a string by using a opening single quote and then closing single quote. Yes, that's true. So I can try to create a string in that particular way, and I have already created it. But why it is giving me this part of error, right? Why it is telling me that there is a syntactical error? The reason is very simple. See, I have used a single quote to open up a string and then to close a string. I have used single quotes, right? But in between a string, we have a single quotes again. Now, Python compiler is getting confused that you have written a string, but it looks like that you have a string from this part to this part, and this part it is not able to understand. Now, in this particular situation, so wherever you have to put up a single quote in between, what you are supposed to do and how you will be able to create a valid string, let me show you that particular part as well. So wherever you are going to face this kind of a situation, so the solution is very simple. Let's suppose I'm going to create S4, and this is a data that we have. So wherever you have a single quote in between a string, wherever you have a single quote in between a string, try to enclose that string with a double quotes. Now, if I'm going to execute, it is not going to give me any kind of a error, right? It is not giving me any kind of a error as of now. So wherever I have a single quotes, try to enclose it within a double quotes, or what you can do. So maybe vice versa, right? So let's suppose I'm going to take the same data, and here I'm going to write it as a S5. Okay, string 5. Now let's suppose if I have a double quote in between, again, if I'm going to execute, it will give me an error because there is a double quotes in between, and Python compilers is getting confused, right? That which part of the data I'm supposed to consider as a single string. Now here, what you can do is, again, reverse of the previous operation. So wherever you have a double quotes, try to enclose it within a single quote, and it is not going to give you any kind of issues. Now let's suppose, right? Let's suppose if you have a data where you have a double quotes and a single quotes in between, right? So maybe I'm going to write, this is my first data, and then again I'm just trying to close it within a single quotes. So what you are supposed to do in this particular situation, so maybe I can try to use triple quote over here, and then I can try to use triple quotes over here, and then my work is done. I have a single quotes as well as I have a double quotes in between a string. So I have just enclosed this particular string with a double quotes, and it is working fine for me. So wherever you are going to face this kind of a issue, just make sure that use a alternative one. Yes. So if there is a double quote and single quote both, then try to use a triple quote and it is going to work for you. Now here, let's suppose there is a string which I am able to create. So there are so many strings which I am able to create as of now till S6. Let's suppose if I'm going to print it. So maybe I can try to call this particular variable directly and I will be able to get a data. I can even try to use print function. So print function. I can even try to use p small. So print function, and then I can try to print this particular string. It's completely fine. Now, if someone is asking me to check what is a type of this data, right? Whether this data set is string or not, I can do it. So maybe I can try to call type, and then inside that I can try to pass S1. So type is an inbuilt function by default available inside a Python library, and you just have to pass your string. You just have to pass your data directly, and then it is giving me that what is a type of the data. So type of this particular S1 is str, and similarly, you can try to check it for S2, S3, S4, S5, S6, whatever string which I have created so far. Okay, that's fine. Now, let's suppose if someone is asking me a question that what is a length of the string, or what is the number of character or alphanumeric available inside a string. I can even do that. There is a function called as len, length function, right? There is a function called as length function. I can try to pass my data over here, and now it is telling me that total length of the data is equals to what? Is equals to 9. So here, if I'm going to print S1, right? What is a total number of data or total number of space which it is trying to take, total number of space which it is trying to occupy? So yes, it is taking 9 space as of now. Let's suppose if I'm going to create a string, maybe S7, and here I'm going to give a space, and then SUDHNSHU, then again we have a space. Now if I'm going to calculate what is a length, what is a length of S7? So yes, length of this S7 is 25. So it is going to consider, right? It is going to consider all the space which this string has occupied between this particular quotes to this particular quotes. So whatever space is available, it is going to calculate the entire space, and then it is going to give you a final value. Then it is going to give you a final result. Okay, fine. So this is something that we are able to understand. Now, let's try to talk about a string slicing operation. So what is the meaning of a string slicing operation? How we can try to do a string slicing? Let's try to understand that part. So let's suppose I'm going to create a string variable called as S8. Okay, inside that I'm going to store SUDHNSHU. Fine, I'm going to store this particular data. Now, if someone is asking me a question that can you please try to extract S out of this S8? So whatever string that I have, someone is asking me a question that can you please try to extract S out of it? Yes, obviously I will be able to extract S or any other character which is given inside a string. I can even try to extract a partial data out of this particular string. From any point to any point, I will be able to extract. I will even be able to extract the alternative string, or maybe a string with a jump of 3, jump of 4. So let's try to understand all of these things one by one with the help of practical example and with the easiest possible layman kind of explanation. Okay, so here my objective is to extract this first S out of the string. So see guys, whenever you are going to store a string, it is always going to follow a thumb rule that, let's suppose I have this particular SUDHNSHU. So I'm going to write it down over here. So SUDHANSHU. Now, whenever you are going to create a string, system is going to store this entire data by giving an internal indexes. By default, you are not supposed to give any kind of indexes. System itself is going to award indexes to each and every data which is available over here. Even if we have a space, so a space will be having a indexes. Doesn't matter what we have. So whatever falls under a quotes, whether it's a single quotes or double quotes or maybe a triple quotes, for each and every data, right? For each and every data, it is going to award with the indexes, and that indexes comes in a forward direction as well as in a backward direction. In both the directions, system is going to give a indexes. So in a forward direction, if I'll talk about, so index always starts from 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, 7, and 8. So this is the forward direction of indexes, and by default, every string without any kind of exception, it is going to award. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So index always going to start with the 0 by default. Now, even in reverse direction, system try to give an indexes to any given string that you are going to create. So in a forward direction, it starts with 0. In a backward direction, it is going to start from -1, then -2, then -3, then -4, then -5, then -6, -7, -8, and -9. So in a backward direction, it is going to start from -1, and in a forward direction, it is going to start from 0. Simple. Now, based on this, I will be able to extract any kind of a data that I'm looking for. Let me show you a multiple example, not just one single example. Plus, I'm going to show you scaling concept as well, because majority of us gets confused with respect to a string slicing operation. So let's suppose someone has given me a requirement that try to extract this first S out of this data. Okay, I can do it. So I can write S8, then open bracket, close bracket, a square bracket you are supposed to give, not just a normal parenthesis, but you have to give a square bracket. And here you have to write down an index. So if I'm going to write 0, now execute. What is the data which I'm able to extract? The very first S I'm going to extract. Let's suppose if I'm going to write S8, right? And I have to extract maybe a second data. Yes, I can try to extract it. I can write 1 over here because second data is U. And what is the index of U? So index of U is basically 1. So yes, I can write 1 over here and I will be able to extract a data. Now, let's suppose someone is asking me to extract maybe a last element out of this particular string. I can do that as well. So maybe I can try to write S8 and then I can write an indexes of this particular data. So what is the index for this particular data? So obviously index for this particular data is 8 and I will be able to extract it. So here I can write 8 and then I will be able to extract a data. I'm able to extract U. Not only this, this is just about a forward direction of indexes which I'm talking about, a positive indexes which I'm talking about. You can even try to extract a data with respect to a backward indexing or maybe a negative indexing. So for example, if I have to extract a very first data by using a backward indexing, I just have to write the index number. That's it. So here -9 I'm going to write, and yes, I'm able to get the data S, the very first one, right? Because index for S is 0 in a forward direction and -9 in a backward direction. If someone is asking me to extract U, I can write maybe S8 and I can try to write even S-1, S8 -1, and I will be able to extract this particular U. So I can extract any data set based on either a forward indexing or maybe based on the backward indexing. Let's suppose if I'm going to write over here S of 100. Now what will happen in this case? Do we have this 100th indexes inside a string? Yes or no? I believe we do not have 100 indexes in my string. Execute. Now it is giving me an error. It is telling me that string index out of range. Yes, string index out of range. Now here I'm able to extract a data based on indexes. So one single data at a time I can try to extract by using maybe a forward indexes or maybe by using a backward indexes. But let's suppose someone has given you a use case that okay, you have this S8, means you have this particular string. Now try to extract a data SUDH. I'm not looking for single data. I'm looking for a multiple data over here, right? So if someone is going to ask me a question that try to extract SUDH out of this particular string. So let's try to understand how I will be able to extract a data from this particular string, which is a Sudhanshu. So I just have to extract SUDH out of this one. So here, what I can write is, I can write S8, then again bracket. So square bracket, open bracket, close bracket. And in this particular situation, I can try to write starting indexes and I can try to write a last index plus 1. I'll tell you, I'll show you that part. So see, I have to extract SUDH. Yes, I have to extract SUDH. So I have to start from which index? I have to start from 0th indexes. Yes, I have to start from a 0th indexes. And then till 3rd index, I have to extract a data. Till 3rd index, I have to extract the data. So here, you can try to write a starting point. So what is a starting point? A starting point is 0. Okay. Then you can give a colon over here. And then you can try to write endpoint. Now, what is my endpoint? My endpoint is a 3rd indexes. Now, if I'm going to write 3 over here, it will be able to extract only till 2. This is how this function for a string has been written internally inside a Python. So let's suppose if I have to extract till 3, I have to write 4. So let's suppose if I'm writing 4 over here, I will be able to get SUDH. I have written 4. Now, what is like where we have 4 or for which character we have 4? We have a 4 for A, right? We have 4 for what? We have 4 for A over here, but it is not extracting A. It is just extracting what? SUDH only. So we have a lower bound or starting point, and then we have end point. So whatever end point that you will be having, so end point -1, it is something going to extract at any point of a time. So in this way, I will be able to get a slice of the string. This is something called as string slicing operation. Previously, we were trying to look into a indexing operation. Yes. Okay, fine. Now, if someone is asking me a question that try to extract a data, right? Maybe DHAN. So for D, what is the starting point? For D, starting point is 2. I'll simply write 2 over here. And then what is the end point? So DHAN. So till n means till 5th positive indexes, I have to extract the data. So what I should write? I should write 6 over here. And DHAN, I will be able to extract in a easiest possible way. I will be able to extract this data. Now, this is about a positive indexes. Yes. But what about negative indexes? So will I be able to extract a data via a negative indexes? Yes, that is possible, right? If index is given to me, I can try to use even a positive indexes, or maybe I can try to use a negative indexes, and I will be able to extract the data. I'll try to show you that part as well. But before moving into that part, let me tell you about a jump. Let's suppose someone is asking me that try to extract basically S, then D, then A, and then S. Means you have to extract alternative data. You have to extract what? You have to extract basically alternative data. So you have to extract first S, then D, then A, and then S you have to extract. Alternative data you have to extract. So okay, I will be able to extract alternative data. So this operation, right? This operation which I have written over here, I can even write it down in this way. S8. So give a starting point is 2. Now give a endpoint is 6, right? Upper bound, so upper bound -1. Always remember, upper bound -1, it will always try to extract. So fine, I have given a starting point, I'm giving an endpoint over here, and then I can even write 1. Now this 1 is called as, or this one, the last parameter which I'm trying to give is called as jump or step size. Now what is the meaning of it? If I'm going to execute it, I'm going to get the exact same data. So even though I have not given 1 over here, but there was 1. And again, it's not just 1, it's a positive 1. Always remember, I'll try to show you a scaling concept and where you will be able to understand why I'm telling you it's a positive 1. And if you are going to write -1, things will change automatically. Okay. So here I'm trying to extract a data. That's completely fine. I have written a very simple statement over here, right? So start from 2, go till 6, and then try to take a jump of 1. Now, what is a meaning of this jump? So see guys, it is going to start from second indexes. So, okay, it will try to start from second indexes, means it will try to take D. Now, how it is going to move to the next one, because it has to move to the next one, right? And then next one, and then next one, and then next one, and somewhere it is supposed to stop itself. So here we have a step size which comes into a picture. So whenever it is going to start from 2, so what is the element it is supposed to extract the next? So 2 plus 1 is equal to 3. Now from third, it will try to extract one element. Now it is at 3 as of now, let's suppose. It is at 3 as of now, right? So again, 3 plus 1 means a jump size is equals to 4. So from 4, it will try to extract a data. Now 4 plus 1 is equals to 5. So from fifth indexes, it will try to extract the data. Now we have upper bound is equals to 6, right? We have upper bound is equal to 6, and a string rule says that, in Python at least, it says that it will always try to extract a data from upper bound minus 1, not till upper bound minus 1. So it will stop itself. It will not start looking for the next data wherever it will be able to find out upper bound minus 1. Okay, so in this way, this step size works. So even though I have not given the step size over here, it is working in that particular direction, and it is considering a step size as well. Now, what is my original requirement? Let's get back to the original requirement that we had. So we had a requirement to extract a data. Let me clean it a little bit. Okay. So we had a requirement to extract a data starting from S, then extract D, then extract A, then extract S. So let's suppose I'm here as of now. I'm going to start from here, right? So I have to extract this data, then I have to extract this data, then I have to extract this particular data, right? So means I have to extract alternative data. It simply means that I have to make a jump of 2, or I have to take a step of 2, right? Positive 2 a step I have to take. So if I'm at 0, right? If I'm at 0, so 0 plus 2 is equals to 2. So I have to get into this location. Then 2 plus 2 is equals to 4. So I have to get into this location. Now 4 plus 2 is equals to 6. So I have to get into this location. And then if there is, right, if there is a upper bound which I have given, so I have to stop myself, because upper bound minus 1, it will be able to extract all the time. So here, let's try to do it practically. So I have to give a step size of what? I have to give a step size of 2 over here. Okay. So if I'm going to write S8 and then start from 0, right? Start from 0, go till 7, fine. And then try to take a jump of 2 all the time. Try to take a jump of 2, execute. SDAS. SDAS. Are we able to extract? Yes, we are able to extract. So we are able to take a jump of 2 each and every time. And yes, I'm able to extract the data. Similarly, so I had this particular string, which is little bit like a lengthy string, right? So S5. So I'm going to consider S5 this time. I'm going to consider S5 this time. And if someone is going to ask me a question that try to extract a data in every third position, right? In every third position. So yes, I will be able to extract the data. So I can maybe try to start from S5, start from 0, right? Start from 0, maybe try to go till 20th indexes. I don't know whether 20th indexes exist or not, right? But I'm just trying to go till 20th indexes, and then always try to take a jump of 3, execute. Now here is a data that we are able to find out. Now let's cross verify manually. So here, like I said, whatever data you have, whatever data, including a space and everything, whatever data that you have inside a string, it is going to give our indexes. So index for H is going to be 0. For O, it is going to be 1. For W, it is going to be 2. For this column, double quotes, it is going to be 3. Then 4. Then we have a space, which is 5. Then we have Y, 6. O, 7. U, 8. R, 9. Space, 10. H, 11. E, 12. L, 13. T, 14. H, 15. So we have a data starting from 0th indexes till 15th indexes. So what I'm trying to say over here, start from 0, go till 20. Now you can ask me a question that previously, in case of an indexing operation, when you were trying to showcase and when you have given an indexes which doesn't even exist, it was giving an error. But here you have written 20th indexes and 20th indexes doesn't even exist, right? So in case of a string indexing operation, if you are going to give any indexes which doesn't exist, it will give you index error. But in case of a string slicing operation, even if I'm going to give 200, 2000 or whatever number, right, which doesn't even exist in a string, it is not going to give me any kind of error. In case of a string slicing, where I'm trying to extract a part of the string, right, when I'm trying to pass multiple parameter, more than one parameter for a string parsing operation. So here it is going to start from 0. Okay, so 0th element is h, then 0 plus 3. So now it will start looking into third element. What is the third element? So h for 0, o for 1, w for 2. Third is basically 3. Sorry, third is basically this double quotes. So yes, double quotes it is able to extract. Then 3 plus 3, 6. 6 we have y. So it will be able to extract. Now 6 plus 3, 9. 9. We have r, it is able to extract. Then 9 plus 3, 12. So basically we have e, 12. It is able to extract. Then 12 plus 3 is equals to 15. So h we have and h it is able to extract. So in this way, I can try to give whatever jump size that I want, and based on that, it will keep on extracting a data out of my given string. Very simple, right? It will keep on extracting a string one by one automatically. So hope this is making sense to all of us, right? We all are able to understand that how this string slicing operation is working as of now. Okay, that's fine. Now, let's suppose, right? Let's suppose instead of writing this, I can even write in this way. I'm not giving 20 as a parameter. What I'm trying to say is start from 0. I'm not giving an endpoint. Yes, I'm not giving an endpoint. And then I'm going to give 3. Now execute. Same answer, right? Same answer. So when I'm not giving an endpoint, I have given a starting point, but so it will be able to start from somewhere, and I'm not giving an endpoint, it will go till the last of the string automatically. You don't have to even worry about it. Yes, so it is going to give me the same answer. So it will go till last and will keep on taking a jump of 3, 3, 3, 3 all the time. Now, so last plus 1, obviously it will try to go over here. Now same thing I can try to write over here, and here I can try to remove 0. So I'm not giving a starting point. I'm not even giving a end point. So what I'm trying to give, I'm just trying to give a jump size or step size, okay, in a positive direction. So execute, then again, no issue at all, right? Again, there is no issue. So I'm not giving a starting point, but yes, you have to give a colon, so that it will be able to understand all the 3 parameter, right? So you have to give a place where it will be able to understand that, okay, fine. So if someone has not given any kind of an input, it simply means that I have to start from a start, a very beginning, and then I have to go till very last. And here is a jump size, which is going to help to take a steps every time, right? That 3 steps, then 4 steps, or whatever steps that you are going to give. Yes. Okay. So this is fine. Now let's suppose if I'm giving S5 and if I'm writing colon, just colon I have written. I'm not giving even a starting point. I'm not giving an end point. I'm not giving even a step size. Now what will happen in that situation? So see, if I'm not giving anything, but I have given colon, it simply means that start from 0, starting point, go till end point. And then by default, like I said, always try to take a step or jump of what? 1. So start from 0, 0 plus 1. So go till 1, then 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 1, 3, and so on. It will keep on moving and it will keep on extracting a data set for all of us. Okay, fine. So this is how you all will be able to do a slicing operation. So whatever data that you are looking for, you all will be able to extract it by using a positive slicing operation. Okay, by using a positive slicing operation. Now let's suppose I'm going to write over here that S5. Fine. I'm going to give colon and colon. So I'm not giving a starting point. I'm not giving end point. I'm going to give jump size is equals to -1. Okay, I'm going to give jump size is equals to -1. Now execute. What has happened? Yes, what has happened? So here, I'm not giving any starting point. I'm not giving any end point. And let me show you that with S8. S8 is a smaller string so that you will be able to understand. So this is string. So the answer I'm going to take. And here, I'm going to give S8 and colon, and then -1. By default, what is going to be the step size? +1. But here, what I have given -1. So execute. Now, just look into it. Are we able to see a reverse of the string? So whatever string that we have, right? Are we able to see UHSNAHDUS? UHSNAHDUS? So yes, we are able to reverse a string without using any kind of a inbuilt function. We even have an inbuilt function, right? But without even using an inbuilt function, we are able to reverse a string. ::1. Now how it is going to work, let's try to understand. So I'll come to this example, right? How it is able to reverse. But before that, right? Before that, let me show you a couple of more examples. Then I'll come back to the reverse one so that you will be able to understand the negative indexing in terms of slicings as well. Because as of now, I haven't discussed about the negative slicing operation. So here, let's suppose I'm going to give starting point is equals to 0 and then end point is equals to 5. And then if I'm going to give -1. Now, if I'm going to execute, what will happen? Let's try to execute. I'm not getting anything. Why? Right? What is the reason? See, I'm giving a starting point, I'm giving an end point, and I'm giving even a step. So instead of writing +1, I have written -1. That's the only differences. That's the only changes. It is not giving me any kind of an error, but it is not even giving me any kind of a data. Now, let's try to understand a scaling concept. I'll give you 2 to 3 examples so that you all will be able to understand this negative index slicing operations and you will be able to understand a scaling concept. So let's draw a scale. Let's draw a scale. We have 0 over here. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's suppose. And then on this side of scale, -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6, and so on. Fine? Okay. Now, let's look into this one. You are trying to start from which location? So you are trying to start from 0th location. Yes, you are trying to start from 0th location. And you are going till which location? You are going till 5th location. Okay? You are going till 5th location. So this is a direction that you have. Fine? The direction you have. So starting from 0 and going towards this one. Now, you are trying to take a jump in which direction? You are trying to take a jump in which direction? Negative direction. Yes, negative direction where you are trying to take a jump. Can I say that there is a conflict in between? Can I say that there is a conflict in between the way in which we are moving and the way where we are trying to jump? And because of this conflict, so wherever there will be a conflict, it is not going to give you any data. It is not going to give you even error. Don't worry about it, right? It is not going to give you any kind of an error. But if there is a direction conflict, in that case, it is not going to give you even a data. And because of it, we are not getting any kind of a data over here. Let's suppose I have to receive a data. How I will be able to do that? Let me explain you that part as well. So here, what I will do is, so instead of writing start from 0 and go till 5, so I'll try to write maybe S8 and then start from 5, go till 0 and then jump in negative axis by 1, right? Execute. I'm able to get the data. Yes, I'm able to get the data this time. So what I have done? So what different I have done this time, and because of it, I'm able to get the data. Let's try to understand that particular part. So here, see what I'm trying to do. I'm starting from 5. So, okay, this is my starting point. I'm trying to represent it with the red color. Okay. So my starting point is what? 5. Now I'm moving from 5 to 0. So 5 to 0. I'm trying to move 5 to 0. 0 is in this direction. Okay. So I'm trying to move from 5 to 0 in this particular direction. And I'm trying to jump. In which direction? Negative axis. Yes. So I'm trying to jump in a negative axis. Now both of this direction is same. So first it will try to start from 5th location. So what is the 5th location? N. At 5th location, what is the data that we have? N. Okay, it will print N. Then 5 minus 1, 4. So it will try to give you A. So yes, it is giving me A. Then 4 minus 1, 3. So now it will try to give you H. So yes, I am able to get H. Then 3 minus 1, basically 2. So now it is able to give me data D. So D. Now 2 minus 1, right? 2 minus 1. What is the data? 1. So it is able to give me 1 over here. Then 1 minus 1, 0. Now 0. So technically it should give me a data at 0th location. But I told you, it will always try to escape upper bound. What is the upper bound that we have over here? So we have 0 over here as an upper bound. Yes, we have 0 over here as an upper bound. And because of this, we have 0 over here as an upper bound. And like I told you, it will always try to escape upper bound. It will never going to consider upper bound. So my upper bound is 0. That is the reason it is not giving me data. This one, which is S, it is just stopping itself till 1. Because in this case, in a reverse direction, when we are trying to move, this is going to be my upper bound. Hope all of you are able to understand that why we are able to get this particular data set. Now, let me take some different example and then again, let me show you this part. Because if you are able to understand this particular part, believe me, whatever kind of a string slicing you are going to do in your entire life, you all will be able to understand it in a easiest possible way. There is nothing beyond this which even exists inside a string. Okay. So let me draw these things again. SUDHANSHU. Okay. Now here I'm going to write, let's suppose I'm going to write S8 and then I'm going to write maybe start from 8, go till maybe go till 0 and then try to take a jump of -2. Execute. I will be able to get a data. Right? Now, if I'm going to place 0 over here, 8 over here, it will not give me a data because direction will be different. Direction where we are moving and direction where we are jumping is going to be different. So it will not give you a data. But in this case, yes, it is going to give me a data. Why it is giving me a data? Let's try to understand that part. So here, let me change my color. Okay. So here, start from 8th. Okay, fine. I'll start from 8th. 8 is here. Go till 0. So 0 is in this direction. So go till 0. Start from 8, go till 0. And then try to take a jump of 2. Right? -2 basically in a negative direction. Try to take a jump of 2 in a negative direction. So fine. This is the negative axis, right? Where it will try to move. This is the negative scale. This direction is same. So it is going to give you the data. Now let's try to understand what kind of a data that we are able to get. So starting from 8. So yes, 8 is my starting point. Or 0 is my end point, means my upper bound is basically 0. Okay. So here it will try to get a data from 8. So yes, we are able to get. Then 8 minus 2. 8 minus 2. What is the data? 6. 8 minus 2 is going to be 6. So it will try to give me S. So yes, it is giving me S. Now 6 minus 2, 4. So it is giving me data 4. So we are able to get A over here. Now 4 minus 2. What is the data? So 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. So from second location, it is giving me a data. Now 2 minus 2. What is the data? 0. Now 0 is my upper bound. And because of it, right? Because of it, it is not giving me a data because I have already mentioned upper bound. Now I'll try to show you something different over here, right? So hope all of you are able to understand that how it is giving me a data, right? Now let's suppose I'm going to take the same example, but I'll try to delete 0. I'm not writing any upper bound and then execute. Are we able to see some changes over here? So here it was giving me USAD and now it is giving me USADS. It is including 0th index data as well. I have not given any upper bound. So what it will do by default is when you are not giving upper bound, yes, when you're not giving upper bound over here, it will always try to consider end till end plus 1. So it will try to consider end data as well. And this is what it is trying to perform over here. And that is the only reason we are able to get our data in this particular place. Now, let's suppose I'm going to give maybe S8, and then here I'm going to write colon -7. Okay, execute. We are able to get this particular data. Colon -7 I have written. Now, let me clean my scale first of all. Okay. So here it is giving me a data called as SU, colon -7. What is the meaning of it and how it is able to give a data? See, I have not given a starting point. I'm just trying to write -7 over here, which is basically an upper bound. And I have not even mentioned a jump, but still it is trying to give me a data. And which data it is trying to give me? So it is giving me this particular data. So I have given -7, colon -7. Yes. So no starting point, but end point I have given. Yes, but end point I have given. And then I'm not even writing a step size, that how many steps you have to take in which direction, positive or maybe into a negative. So in this kind of a situation, right? In this kind of a situation, what it will try to do is it will always try to start from your last upper bound, or -9 in this particular case. So it is trying to extract a data from -9 going till -8, and then this is the upper bound. So it will not try to extract this data because -7 is the upper bound. So always string try to avoid the upper bound, right? So it is giving me -9 and -8 kind of a data in this particular place. Now let me take few more examples. Yes, in the same context, let me take a few more examples. So whenever you are not giving something, so it is going to consider, and it is going to consider even a negative axis automatically. So it is basically a positive axis. So it is going to start from -9 and then it is going to go till positive of 7 in this particular place. Now let's suppose if I'm going to write S8 and then start from -6 and go till -1. Start from -6 and then go till -1. Start from -6, go till -1. Now, have I given a step size or positive or negative? I don't think so. I have not given it, right? I'm just trying to give starting point and I'm just trying to give a end point. Now, let's try to understand this part with the scaling concept. So starting point is what? -6 here, right? Here. Moving in which direction? -1. -1 is where? This direction. It's the positive direction. This is the positive. This is the negative, right? If I'm moving from 0, 0 is the reference. So starting from -6, then going till -1, going till -1. And by default, even if I have not given a step size, by default, what will be the step size? +1 means where it has to jump. It has to jump in this direction. Means first it will try to start from -6. Okay. From -6, it will try to start, which is H. So which is H. -6 and then taking a positive step, right? So -6 plus 1, -5. So moving here. So we are able to get A. Then -5 plus 1, -4. So we are able to get N, right? And then -4 plus 1, -3. So we are able to get S over here. -3 plus 1 is going to be -2. So it is able to get H over here. -2 plus 1 is going to be -1, but my upper bound is -1. So it is going to exclude my upper bound. Same thing has happened even over here. It's starting from -9, even if I have not given an initial point. So by default, if I have given this one, second parameter, which is an upper bound as negative, so it will try to start from 9 and moving in a positive direction, positive. because, and by default my step size is +1 even in this particular situation. Yes, so because of this we are able to get a data. So whenever you get confused, whenever you get stuck, whenever you are not able to understand that why I'm able to get this data or that data, just try to draw a scale and you all will be able to understand that how system is giving me this kind of a data automatically for me. Okay, fine. Now, so this is this. Let me show you a couple of more example with the same thing, right? So now S8 S8 and bracket colon -1, execute. Now what it is going to give me? It is going to give me a reverse colon -1. Colon -1 is going to give me what? Colon -1 is going to give me the reverse of this entire string, UHSNAHDUS. This is the data which I am able to get. So if someone is asking me to reverse a string, yes, I will be able to reverse the string. Now here in this situation, what I have done, I have just given a direction to jump. So I'm saying that try to jump in a negative direction. This is what I'm trying to say. Always try to jump into a negative direction. So always try to jump into a negative direction. In this direction, always try to jump. Now, what will be the starting point and what will be the end point? I have not given a starting point. I have not given end point at all, right? I have not given a starting point. I have not given end point at all. So by default, it is going to take a starting point is equals to this one and end point this beyond this plus this minus more. So -10 internally, it is going to consider. So first it will try to start from -1, then again -1, jump into a -1 direction, -2. So it will try to print this one, -2, -1, -3, -3, -1, -4, -4, -1, -5. So in this way, it will keep on extracting a data. So by default, its starting point is -1 and then its end point is -9, -1, which is technically -10, which is end of the string in a reverse direction. And that's the reason we are able to reverse a string with the help of this one. So this is basically a shorthand, right? I can even get this kind of a data. I can even get this kind of a data by writing upper bound and lower bound. Let me show you that as well. So let's suppose I'm writing S8, okay? I'm writing starting point is equals to -1 and then go till -10. Till -9, I have a data, right? I'm just writing -10 so that it should not exclude the last one. And then -1, same data. Yes, same data, I'm able to get it even over here. So I can write index, I can even write 100 over here, doesn't matter. Upper bound means 100,000, whatever comes in your mind, you can just write it. It is not going to complain, right? It is not going to complain that I'm not able to find out the data at thousands location, because it is going to stop where it will start or where it will stop getting a data. Simple. And this is what happens in case of a slicing operation. But at the same point of a time, if I'm going to write S8 and then if I'm going to give 1000 indexes or the index which doesn't even exist, it is going to give me an error. A string index out of range. So whatever you are going to give it to me, it's not under my control. It's out of my range technically. Yes. So this is how you all will be able to do a string slicing operation with a positive axis as well as with the negative axis, or with the positive jump and with respect to a negative jump. You all can extract a data the way you are looking for. Like I said, wherever you get confused, just try to draw the scale. In case of a string slicing, you all will be able to get a data. Okay. Fine guys, so hope all of you are able to understand this slicing wala part. Now, let me move to our next one. So where I'm going to show you some of the inbuilt function which exist with respect to a string. So now let's suppose we have S8 over here, S8. If I'm going to write dot, simple dot, right? S8 and simple dot, you will be able to find out so many functions. So many functions you will be able to find out over here. So many functions, right? Now, these are the inbuilt function which comes with a string. with almost every kind of a data type, you will be able to find out some sort of a inbuilt Pythonic function so that you don't have to even worry about it. And these are the function that you can see, right? They are a function that you all will be able to find out here in case of a string. Now, these functions are very, very easy to understand. These functions are very, very easy to even implement. So let's try to take a look into this function, and one by one. So let's try to understand most of the function. I'm not saying that you have to understand the complete 100% of the function, but yes, let's try to understand most of the function that is given over here. So the very first function, inbuilt function, which I would like to introduce over here is a length function, right? So if I'm going to pass S8, I'm able to get 9. Means what is the length? What is the total space occupied by this S8? So it's going to be 9. Index always start from 0. So it will go from 0 till 8. But yes, total number of space it is going to occupy is 9. So length function. Then length function we have already discussed, right? Then there is something called as type function. So here we can try to write S8, and this is going to be a print type of the data. We already know about it, right? Now these are not the inbuilt function. These are the generic Pythonic function. Now what is the string inbuilt function? So here, if I'm going to write S8 dot upper, there is a function called as upper. If I'm going to write S8 dot upper, now what this function is going to return? This function is converting everything, whatever data set that I had inside a string. So this function is converting everything into an uppercase, and then it is giving me a result. Yes, then it is giving me a result. So this is what upper function is going to perform at any point of a time. Now, you don't have to remember these functions. Like I said, just try to write your variable, put dot, and then it is going to give you a pop-up for every string. Now, let's suppose sometime, right? Sometime you'll feel like I'm not able to remember the mechanism or the work of a particular function. Not an issue. Just hover your mouse on this function. If you are using a VS Code, if you are using a VS Code, and then inside a VS Code, if you are going to use a Jupyter notebook, if you are using a Jupyter notebook, maybe into a Google Colab or maybe into an Anaconda Jupyter notebook or native Jupyter notebook, in that case, you have to press Alt Tab. Inside a bracket, you have to press Alt and Tab, and that is going to give you the final result. But in case of, right, in case of Jupyter notebook inside a VS Code, just hover your mouse and you will be able to get a definition. So what is the definition of upper? Return a copy of the string converted to an uppercase. This is what this is doing, right? And here you will be able to find out that it is returning what? It is returning str. Yes, it is returning str. Means it is going to give you outcome as a string. So this is basically coming from the inbuilt docstring. Means whenever anyone writes a function inside a Python, so try to maintain a docstring, and from there it is trying to fetch this data. So whenever we will try to create our own function, right, in a function classes, even I'm going to show you that how to write this kind of a docstring, which is going to help others to do an implementation. Yes, so I'll be talking about docstring in your function chapter, not over here. As of now, we are not aware about the function, so it's completely fine. But yes, you can see all the information with respect to a function even now, whatever is the inbuilt function with respect to a string, and then going forward list, set, tuples, and dictionary, and so on. Now here, S8 upper, so it is converting everything into an uppercase, and these functions name are written in such a way that it is not going to give you a pain. It's just a proper English, right? So just by looking into this, anyone will be able to understand. Now let's try to understand the next function. So S8 dot, there is a function called as lower. So it is going to give everything into a lowercase. My string was by default available into a lowercase. My string was by default available into a lowercase. So let me create one string called as S9, and here, so I'm going to write S, capital S, U, capital D, H, A, N, S, H, U. So some of the character available into an uppercase, some of the character available into a lower cases. Now, if I have to convert everything into a same case, what I will do, I can try to call lower, and it is going to convert everything into a lowercase. As you can see, S was in uppercase, D was in uppercase. It has converted everything into a lowercases. Or maybe if I have to convert everything into an uppercase, I can even call S9 dot upper, and it is going to convert everything. Yes, it is going to convert everything into an uppercase. Don't forget to give a bracket if it is a function. If I'm not giving a bracket, it is going to give you an object and you will not be able to see the result. So always try to give a bracket as it's a function, inbuilt function that you are trying to call. Now, the another thing, right? So lower, yes, we are able to convert. Upper, yes, we are able to convert into an uppercase into a lowercase. So we are able to normalize the particular string in this particular manner. Okay, fine. So upper, and we have a lower. Now let's try to understand another case. So let's suppose if I'm writing S8 dot capitalize. Capitalize is another function, right? So what capitalize is going to do, as you can see. So capitalize always try to convert a very first character, right? A very first character into an uppercase. So as a S8, what kind of a data we had? So everything into a lower cases. It is trying to convert a very first character into an uppercase. Let's suppose I'm going to take S10 and then here I'm going to consider SUDH, NSHU, KUMAR. Okay, fine. So S small. Now here, if I'm going to call S10 dot capitalize, execute, you will be able to find out that the very first string, a very first string character is going to be in a uppercase. Now you will tell me that one thing, that you are trying to do this operations, but it is not updating my current string. See, I've written this one capitalized. It has converted this very first character of the string into an uppercase because of this capitalized, right? But if I'm going to print S10 once again, I will be able to see the original string. So guys, here, whenever you're trying to make this kind of a changes, it is not changing the original one. If you have to make a changes into an original one, then what you have to do, you have to do an assignment operation. So S10 is equals to new S10 after the changes. So now if you are going to do this, you will be able to see a changes in a original data. In original data, you will be able to see the changes. Otherwise, you will not be able to see the changes. This is just a runtime changes. You will be able to see it, but it will not be able to retain it. Simple, persistent. Okay. Now, capitalize is fine. I'm going to take S10 in this way, S10 in this particular way, right? This is my data as of now. Now, there is another function called as title. Now, execute. Now, what is a difference between capitalize and title? Let me explain you that part. So whenever you're calling capitalize, right? Whenever you're calling capitalize, it is going to convert a very first character into an uppercase. Very first character into an uppercase. Whenever you're going to call capitalize. But whenever you're going to call title, so let's suppose this is the string that we have. And now we have this entire string is a combination of this one and this one. Means we have two words, right? Two words we have on this particular place. So for every word, it is going to convert first character into an uppercase in case of title. In case of capitalize, only the first one. In case of title, for every word. So we have two words, Sudhanshu and Kumar. So Sudhanshu, S is capital and K is capital. Let's suppose we have 3 word, 4 word, 10 word, 100 word, right? For every word, if you are going to implement title, it is going to convert it into an uppercases. Now, these string functions are very much important, believe me guys, because going forward, whenever you will try to do some sort of an implementation or string manipulation, which you are going to do for sure a lot, all of these functions, you are going to use it. Going forward, we will even try to understand how we can write this kind of function by ourselves. As of now, we are trying to use just an inbuilt function, but obviously we will try to use our own custom functions as well. Okay, fine. Now, let's suppose I'm going to call S8, which is basically Sudhanshu, right? Now, let me create another string S11. And here we have a space, and then we have SUDH, NSHU, KUMAR, space. Okay, execute. So this is our data that we have, let's suppose. And if someone is asking me a question, right? If someone is going to ask me a question that in your data, in a beginning of the data, there is a lot of space. In a end of the data, there is a lot of space, right? So can you try to remove all the space from the beginning of the data and the end of the data? Only beginning and only end, right? So can you please extract, or can you please just remove this one and give me just a data wala part? Okay. So yes, I can do it. There is a function called as strip function. Okay. There is a function called as strip function. Now, once you are going to do a strip, it is going to do what? It is going to remove the space from a beginning and from a last. Simple. From a beginning and from a last, it is going to remove all the white spaces, leading and trailing. As you can see in a definition itself, leading and trailing white space will be removed. Okay, fine. Now, if someone is asking me a question that can you please try to remove just a space from a beginning, not from the last, just from the beginning, right? So I want to retain this space, but I don't want this particular space. Yes, I can do it. There is something called as left side strip, L strip. So L strip, just call it, and only from a beginning, left hand side, right? Left hand side. So only from a beginning, it is able to remove the space, and we have a last space. Now, if someone is asking me a question that can you please remove a last space? Yes, I can do it. So S11 dot R strip, and I will be able to remove a space from a last, as you can see, and it is not going to remove a space from the beginning. And again, don't get confused. This is just a runtime result which I'm trying to showcase to you. It is not going to affect your original strings at all unless and until you are not going to do a item assignment operation. So if you're going to write S11 is equal to S11.rstrip, then obviously it is going to retain the changes permanently. Okay, fine. Now here, let's suppose if I have maybe S10, let me see what is the data that we have. Okay, this is the data that we have inside S10. Now here, if someone is asking me a question, right? If someone is asking me a question that can you please try to check whether my string is starting with A or not? If someone is asking me a question that can you please try to check whether my string is starting with A or not? So yes, I can try to check that part as well. So S10, and then I have to check whether my string is going to start with. So there is a function called start with, and here I can try to write A. It is going to give you true or false. So if my string is going to start with A, it is going to give me true. As of now, my string is not starting with A, so it is giving me false. Now, same thing if I'm going to check with S, it is going to give me true. Same thing if I'm going to check with a capital S. So my string is starting with S, that I know, yes. But let me check it with a capital S. Capital S, false. Python is a case sensitive language. So uppercase and lowercase is different. See guys, my string is starting with S, but still it is giving me what? False. Why? Capital S. Yes, capital S. My string is starting with small s. So small s is different and capital S is different. Okay, fine. Now, if someone is asking me a question, so let's suppose I have a S10, this is string. If someone is asking me a question that whether my string is ending with, Z or not. So I can try to even check that part. So S10 dot, there is a function called as Endswith. And here I can try to write Z. False. My string is not ending with Z. My string is basically ending with R. So if I'm going to check with R, it's true. So yes, my string is ending with R. So there are so many functions, not just one or two. There are so many functions, 20 plus function, I believe, which is available inside a string. You don't have to remember any function. Don't mug up, don't remember, don't by heart any of this function. Believe me. Just use it once and forget it. Just like a fire and forget. Yes. So use it and forget about it. You don't have to worry about this entire things at all. Okay. Now, so let's suppose there is a string S10 that I have. Now someone is asking me a question that does your string is having U inside it or maybe Z inside it? So I can try to search for it. So here there is a function called as find. So here s10 dot, there is a function called as find function. So find function is going to find a substring. So if I'm looking for u, it is going to give me, yes, we have u inside a particular string, and index of this u is basically what? 1. Yes, index of this particular string is basically what? 1. So 0 and then 1. But you will tell me that, okay, so it is telling me the index of the first one, but we have 2u over here, right? Practically we have 2u over here, but why it is giving me just for the first? This is what find function does. If you'll see this one, so return the lowest index. If you'll see this one, return the lowest index in a string s where substring sub is found. So wherever it will be able to find out a substring, it will always remember it will always try to return the lowest index. Doesn't matter how many times u I have inside my string, but it will always try to return what? The very first index, not the second one. Now, let me show you a couple of more iterations with the same thing. So here, I'm going to write s10.find and here udh. So whether my string is having udh or not, continuously. So yes, I have udh and it is going to give me the index of very first one. Now, if I'm going to find s10 dot whether my string is having this or not, fsfds or not, execute -1. -1 means not available. This is the meaning of it. You don't have to again remember. See, return -1 on failure. So if it is not able to find out, so if you have a very, very huge string, right? You're trying to parse the entire book, and if you have to find something inside the book, you can find it out. And this is how you all will be able to find out inside any Word document, any PDF document, right? Even in your WhatsApp, you all use to find some of the strings, some of the names, some of the phone number, some of the contact. You always try to, or some of the file, you always try to find out. This is how find is going to work, right? This is how find is going to work. So find is going to find a substring. So you can give one character, you can give a substring. Both the cases it is going to work, and you will be able to find something. If it is able to find out, it is going to return you the very first indexes. Always remember. Now, S10. Let's suppose we have this string, and wherever we have u, I have to replace u with a. Yes, wherever I'm able to find out u, I have to replace u with a. So let's try to do it. So to replace, there is a function called as replace. Simple, right? Replace. And here I can try to give my old one. So my old one is u. So wherever I have a u, try to replace it with a. Execute. As you can see, we have u over here. We have u over here. Now it became a and a. Again in runtime. We have even u over here, right? It has replaced all the u with a. Sudhanshu Kumar. Okay, fine. My name got changed over here. So after changing u to a, this became my new name that you can see. But yeah, this is not a permanent one because I'm not trying to reassign again to the variable s10. So it is not going to make a changes permanently. This is just a temporary one in a runtime. That's it. Okay. So replace is fine. We are able to understand. So if we have to replace anything anywhere, so yes, I will be able to replace. Now let me show you replace with something else. So let's suppose replace SUD. So wherever it is able to find out UD, replace with A. Execute. So see, wherever there is a UD combination, substring, right? Substring. So UD, so it has replaced with only A, only one. So I can even try to replace a single character. I can even try to replace a substring or a multiple character out of the particular string. Now, let's try to understand a couple of more things. So here, let's suppose I have a string, right? I have a string where I have S, comma, U, comma, D, comma, H is given to me. So this is a string. And this string is separated by what? Characters are separated by what? Comma. Now someone is asking me that try to return me a list with all of these character in a as a different element. So I can try to use split over here. So split, and here I can try to give a delimiter. a separator. So as you can see, it is going to return me what? This is a list. If you're going to check what is the data type for this one, if I'm going to check what is a type of this one, it is going to return me what? It is going to return me a list. So it is going to return split, always try to return what? List. Split is trying to split based on what? This comma delimiter. So wherever we have a comma, wherever it will see comma, it will try to convert it as a single entity, as a single character. Simple. Now I'm going to take the same thing, and here instead of comma, I have basically has, and here I have a has. Execute. Now see, here I'm going to change the delimiter has. So wherever it has, it has converted into a single character. Again, we have u over here, then has d. So wherever we have has, it has converted. Now here we don't have a has, so it is keeping d and h together. So split, always try to split a data based on whatever delimiter that you have. Delimiter is nothing but a separator. It could be a hash, it could be a @ it could be a space. You just have to put it over there, and it is going to split the entire string, and finally you all will be able to see a list. One single list you all will be able to observe. So fine, even we are able to split the string. Okay. Now there is something called as there is something called as join. Okay, there is something called as join. So let's suppose this is the data that we are able to get. This is the data that we are able to get. Now I have to get back this particular data. Same one, right? So we are able to create this data from this data, right? So from this particular data, I have to create again this data. So how I will be able to create it? Simple. So colon again over here. So maybe I can try to like place hashtag and then dot join and then pass this particular list. I'm able to get the exact same data. So join is just a reverse of a split. So whatever you're trying to reverse it back, just try to call join, call your delimiter over here, and wherever it will be able to find out comma, it will be able to replace it with the hash. I'm able to get the previous data, right? So join is just a reverse of a split that we are able to observe. Okay. So this is again another useful function. We all are going to use it many times, believe me, throughout our lecture, as well as when we'll try to solve the real problem. Okay, now let's try to understand a couple of more inbuilt function. So let me call a string. Let's suppose this is my string, right? Now s10, and then there is a function which starts with is. So you can see is alphanum. Execute. It is giving me false. Why? Just go after this function name. Is means it will always try to return either true or false. Num. L means alpha and num means numeric. So do we have, it will always try to check, do we have a string where we have alphabetical as well as numeric both? So in this one, we have alphabets, but we don't have any kind of a numeric, and that is the reason it is giving me false. Let's suppose if I'm going to create another string s12 and here sudh some. So this is a combination of alphabets and a numeric. Now here if I'm going to check s12 and is alphanum. Now it is going to give me true. Why? Because there is a alphabet and there is a numeric. Because of that, it is giving me true. So sometimes we have to check in a string. Maybe we have to put up the condition for the string filtration that try to filter only those kind of a string which is having alpha as well as numeric, or maybe just alpha, or maybe just numeric. So this kind of a checks we have to apply. So there are functions which is going to be very much handy for all of us in those kind of circumstances. Okay, now s12 dot is alpha. So you can check just alphabet. That is also possible. So do we have just alphabet into s12? No, we have a numeric as well. So if I'm going to check same thing with my s10. So what is my s10 by the way? S10. Okay. So even for S10, it is not giving me true. Why? Because we have a space. Space is not alphabet, right? Alphabet means A to Z. So a space is not alphabet. Let's suppose if I'm going to check S1, let me see what is S1. Now I'm going to check with S1. S1 dot is alpha. It is going to give me true because there is no space. Yes. So it is having just an alphabetic character. That's it. There is no space at all. Right. Now, just to check a space, for example, if we have a S10, in S10 we have a space. So I can even try to check S10 dot is space execute. It is giving me false. Why? It is having a space. I can see it, right? I can see it. But just check the definition. Return true if a string is a white space string. Means if the complete string is a white space string, only in that situation it is going to return the true. But we have a white space. Apart from that, we have a character as well. For example, let's suppose if I'm going to create a string where we just have a space. We just have a space. Now, if I'm going to call S13 dot is space, it is going to give me true because it is having just a space. But if we have a alpha or if we have a numeric in between, it is not going to give me the same. Now, similarly, so for S1, let's suppose S1 is my this one. So S1 dot, I can try to check is alpha we have already checked. If is alpha num we have already checked. So is space we have already checked. Okay, so for S1, let's use a count function. Now, count, always try to count the number of occurrences. So in S1, how many times we have u? This is what it is going to return. How many times we have u? 1 time and 2 times. So it is going to count the occurrences of a string. Now here ud. How many times we have ud combination? ud combination. Execute and it is going to give me 1. So 1 time my string is having a ud. So whatever you have to do a count as a count inside the string, yes, you can try to use a count function, and based on that you will be able to find out the result. Let's suppose I am giving Z over here. Z is not a part of my string. So what is the count of Z? 0. There is no Z available inside my string. So in this way, guys, you all can use all the important function. Like I said, there are so many different kind of a function: count, capitalize, case fold, center. Okay, let me talk about this center one. So here, if you'll try to check, return the centered string of length and width. It is always going to take 2 parameters. Let's suppose I'm going 20 and then I'm just going to give over here maybe a static. Execute. Sorry, this is a okay. So what is the meaning of this center? So see, it is trying to reserve 20 space. I can give you 200. So it is going to reserve this much of a space and it will try to center, means put up this string S1, right, in a center, and whatever spaces are left before and after, it will try to replace with this placeholder. You can try to write anything that you want, star, dot, hashtag, @ any kind of a string, alphanumeric, everything it is going to digest and it is going to give you the final result. So hope all of you are able to understand all of these functions, guys, right? All of you are able to know something out of the string. All of us are able to understand what is string formatting, what is slicing operations, what is a indexing operation, how we can do a manipulation, how I can extract a data, how we can reverse a string, how we can try to implement a string inbuilt function. So just try to implement it as much as possible. This code file will be available in a description, so you can try to check it out. You can try to practice it. You can try to keep it for your reference. You can try to share with your friends and family. I don't have any kind of an issue. Even you can try to use it for a teaching purpose. Believe me, I do not have any kind of a issue. I'm just here to teach and I'll keep on teaching you. You can utilize all of my resources. You all can utilize all of my code and everything. Even today, tomorrow, or going forward, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to say anything. So with that, thank you so much, everyone. Hope all of you have enjoyed. If you have enjoyed, so please write your feedback in a comment. If you would like to know something which I have not discussed in any of the lecture, please feel free to write down in a comment box. If you are facing any kind of an error, again, you can write down into a comment box. As soon as I'll see the message, I'll try to respond back with my best with that. Thank you so much, everyone. See you again in my next lecture.